Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again. Photo number 1, Saturday, September 19, 2020, Lesson 6, New Words and Definitions. To step on the brakes, to skidded, leash, very long. Definitions. As I was saying, court, excuse me, correction here, because this one is fine, and cross out this one here. To court, justice court. Okay, you can see it, please. Exactly, for in ages, happened to. How was I to know? To imagine. In other words, 9 to 5 job. It is a work. It's a full job. On earth, poisonous, line. They belong to the photo number 2. To ring. It has just the ring. To run into, what on earth? Court could be a tennis court, a soccer court. To run over, wow, can you see? Slippery. To step by step, to step on. Witness, you know me. How there? How was I to know? Thank you. Lesson 6, page number 39, new words. To step on the brakes, to skid, leash. Definitions. I would like you to read the definitions with me. As I was saying, we use this expression to finish what we were saying before someone interrupted us. Court, where a judge works. Note, to tell the court, equals to tell the judge. Exactly, without any mistakes, paying attention to every detail. For or in ages, for a long time. Happened to. Be careful with this expression, please. Look, it's an expression. We use this expression with an infinitive, here it is, to tell about something that wasn't planned or that happened because of luck, either good or bad. Fortunately, you happen not to be there when the truck ran into us. I happen to be a doctor, so maybe I can help. How was I to know? We use this expression to excuse ourselves for something we wouldn't have said or done if we had known something else. I asked Mrs. Weatherby how her husband was, and she started crying. How was I to know he died? To imagine, to suppose, to think, to see something in your mind. In other words, what I, you, etc. really means is 9 to 5, ordinary job in the United States. Most businesses, except banks and stores, are open from 9 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. So if you work for those hours, you have a 9 to 5 job. On earth. We say on earth after a question word to show how surprised we are and how hard it is to believe what we have just seen or heard about. How on earth did you do that? Why on earth are you here? What on earth do you want me to do? Poisonous, having poison in it. To ruin, to spoil, to break, to make something useless, to run into, to hit, usually with a vehicle, to run over, to ride over, slippery, easy to fall on, wet and dangerous, to step, to move your foot forward or backward. Note, to step on equals to put your foot on. Witness, a person who saw something and can tell about it. You know me. You know what I'm like. Okay, after reading you and your partner the words and the definitions, please start discussing them. You can use sentences, questions, personal opinions, etc. Thank you. Okay, let's read the grammar summary, but I want you to do it with me. The past perfect progressive tense. We use the past perfect progressive to talk about something that had already started and was still going, or when something else happened. Very important here, please underline. We use the past perfect progressive tense, listen, to talk about something that had already started and was still going on when something else happened. We often use it with the simple past. Example, by the time I got to the stadium, they'd already been playing for 10 minutes. He was so late that I've been imagining terrible things, and then finally he arrived. It's very important to analyze this combination of the simple past with the past perfect progressive. Future time in the past. We use was, we're going to, future time in the past. It's in the past because right here is was, were. And it's future because we have going to plus infinitive to tell something, to tell about something that used to be in the future but isn't anymore. That used to be in the future but isn't anymore. I didn't know they were going to move, but they did. She was going to stay in Moronia, but she changed her mind. She changed her mind. The exams were going to be ready to pick up 2 days ago. Another example. And remember that after this one, please go to the book, cut here, and also you can read them together for a better understanding. Thanks. Listen bien. Okay, here what I need you to do is to read the lesson number 2, you both together. I don't know, maybe one of you is going to be the judge and the other person, Mr. Ball, or in any other way. Also read the mini conversations and do the conversation practice. And when you are doing the conversation practice, if you can, please go on giving your opinion about what's happening. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please open the cue book, chart number 2, and let's do the exercises A and B. And let me see. Okay, in the exercise A, I love those exercises because they give you the opportunity not only to answer, it's the opportunity to go on speaking as much as you can. In the exercise B, match the following sentences. barely killed his wife. Please write the number one here. What is the appropriate sentence? Thank you. Okay, let's do it. Developing your skills. Use the cue book, chart number 3. If you have any questions, you can ask me about that. In this exercise, we are going to practice exactly the past perfect progressive tense. Look, the police officer had been riding his motorcycle. Exercise B. What were they going to do before the accident? And then he was going to run left of the corner. In the exercise B, we are going to practice future time in the past. Can you see? Was, were, going to, plus infinitive. Right here it is. Was going to turn, was going to turn. C. Ask and answer. Use the past tense in 1 to 4 and the present tense in 5 to 8. Did you happen to watch TV last night? No, I didn't. Or yes, I did. In this case, it's because we are practicing this happen, meaning por casualidad. Check and see the new words. Thank you. After doing the developing your skills, let's practice. First of all, read the reading one by one. But before doing about the reading, read these words that are up at the bottom of the page and see how they work in the conversation. Thank you very much. Let's open the questions book, page number 5. Before answering the questions, listen to the CD. And you are now in the book number 4, so please do not read the question if you are the person who is going to answer it. Have you ever been in an accident? Tell me about it. Yes, I have. I've been in an accident when I was a child, and it was a terrible experience for me because my mom took me to the hospital and I didn't like it because I didn't have any idea what a hospital was. Living in Kisaran, we used to use just homemade medicines, but I really needed because I broke my arm. Thank you. Let's open the questions book, the second part. Underline, oral practice, lesson number 5, and discuss, complete or give your opinion. Complete. I can't stand means I hate. I can't stand it when I wait and I wait for a bus, and at the end it comes and it comes full, so I have to wait for the next one. Culture shock. These words are used to describe how people sometimes feel when they live in a foreign country, in another country. Let's think that you live in the United States. Which are positive, which are negative? How do you think you will feel in what possible situations? Anxious, I think, is a negative word because I am going to feel anxious at the airport because I don't know if I am going to have any problems with my traveling documents, etc. Thank you. Here we have another oral practice for the lesson number 6. Underline that, please. Expectations. Use you're supposed to, you aren't supposed to, you are expected to, is the custom to, is not acceptable to, it's acceptable to. For example, if the service in a restaurant is very bad, it's common to call the waiter to complain about it. Or also you can use, you are supposed to call the waiter to complain about the service. Giving solutions. Give an appropriate solution and discuss them with a partner. One way to stop drug trafficking is, well, maybe not only taking the people arrested who are in the streets. Here the problem is the cartels, that we need to identify them and fight them. Also, education is very important. Since the child was a baby, they need to be educated about the things that are happening just on the corner of our homes, and it is a danger situation that is always just face to face. So my solution is, first of all, education, and watch TV programs about what happened if a family has a person with this kind of problem, and due to the drug trafficking. Thank you. That's it. Go back to the lesson number 1 and do the talk about yourself. You can discuss then the lesson number 1. Right here is the lesson number 2. Do people retire in your country? Yes, they do. And just continue speaking. The lesson number 3, right here is talk about yourself. Is there a speed limit in your country? What is it? What happens if you get caught driving faster than the speed limit? Okay, if you have a lot of ideas to say here. And the number 4 is right here. Have you ever shared a room or an apartment? With whom? I like this. What was he or she like? What was it difficult? Pleasant? Would you do it again? And on the number 5, we're getting finished, is here. Talk about yourself. Describe yourself. What do you suppose others think you are like? In these exercises, what I want you to do is to review the new words and the definitions. So it's a very good exercise to refresh them. Thank you. Okay, here are the questions for the lesson 3. Is the next oral test. Is there a speed limit in Costa Rica? What is it? Could you please investigate it? We have 28 questions because we want you to ask us, Teacher Loriemi, some questions, please. Let's start a conversation, and then we are going to measure the time. Thank you. Let me explain you the homework. Lesson number 4. And it's going to be for the next Saturday too, because these homeworks are very short. The first one, you know what to do. Long answers, please. Reading comprehension. Part 2. Fill in the blanks with a, and, or one. I recommend you to read the grammar summary of the lesson number 4 before doing this exercise. And in the blank, write the adjective that corresponds to the underlined noun. For example, I need help, and your suggestion was very helpful, restful. beautiful, etc. And here, like always you do, the first questions, the 10 ones from the book number 10. Excuse me, from the questions book, the first 10 questions. Lesson number 4. Well, thank you very much for another lesson, and we are going to be doing tests in this way to keep you busy and also practicing English. Have a nice weekend.